There are a lot of actors, entertainers, and musicians who claim to be Christians, yet they play roles or sing songs that include or even seem to highlight questionable content like foul language, violence, and sex or nudity. Is this appropriate or acceptable for Christian entertainers? Does this hurt their witness or the witness of the church at large? Where should they draw the line, and how do we defend Christianity when someone questions the validity of our faith because of questionable content that comes from creators who claim to be Christians? We're going to discuss this and much more on today's episode of the DudeFax podcast.
Let's get it.
Welcome to the DudeFax podcast. We're four guys that are united by a love for coffee, Jesus, and corny jokes. In the past, we all served in ministry together. In the present, we create podcasts to help you get through your week. And in the future, we aspire to be the granddad that teaches his grandkids to pull his finger. So if you love Java, Jesus, and dad jokes, you're going to fit right in. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of Joe, and enjoy this week's episode of the DudeFax podcast. All right, welcome to this week's episode of the DudeFax podcast. We are so glad you're here, and we're so glad we're here.
Yes,
because we have the whole gang together. What'd you say?
I said all together.
All together, yep.
Yep.
The whole crew, all the dudes on this episode. Ryan was dying last week.
Mhm.
I was dying the week before. My dad died a few weeks before that. Is it too soon to make dad dying jokes? I don't know.
I'll leave that one up to you.
He would have laughed at it.
Yeah.
He would have laughed at it. But we're all here now, and it's
Yep.
great. It's good to see everybody. Ryan, how are you, man? You feeling better?
Yes, I'm feeling much better. I was heavily medicated for most of last week on cough syrup and NyQuil, just alternating between whether it was daytime or nighttime.
Was it Grandpappy's cough syrup?
No, it was actual cough syrup.
Ah, okay.
Mucinex brand.
You know, I would get served that at my granddad's house during the summer if I had a cold or we wouldn't go to sleep.
Yeah.
One of the two. We would.
A hot toddy?
A hot toddy.
Oh.
Little Jack Daniels and some coffee is pretty much what it was.
I've been told that a little of that goes good in a baby's bottle to put them to sleep. May or may not have been done to me as a child. I think the jury is still out on that.
Well, you turned out okay.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah. Jeff, how are things on your end of the table over there?
They're good. I've been dying to see you guys. I'm glad you're
Aw.
back in this place.
That's sweet.
I'm on like sensory overload right now because Grant has old school Nintendo behind his head. I have Super Mario Brothers, the original, to my right, and to my left, and over Ryan's shoulder, we're simulating on Madden 24 the AFC Championship right now, and the Chiefs are up 7-0 in the first quarter.
We decided to give you guys three extra screens to look at in
Mhm.
case you get tired of us.
Yeah,
So you've got other things to keep you entertained.
that's right.
Yeah. So
Only if you're on YouTube.
Keep
Yeah.
that watch count up.
and you're not blind.
Or blind.
Yeah.
Sorry, blind people.
Yeah. You're missing out for blind. And if you're deaf, you're really missing out. So,
Yeah.
Huh?
because we normally
you-
don't put closed
If you're
captions.
deaf, you're only watching this, and I feel really bad for you.
Yeah, because I don't think we do captions on our YouTube.
Yeah, caption this.
Huh?
Auto captions, I'm sure.
We might just have to get Grant to give some visual interpretation to that noise like he did last week with something we were doing. Can you give some visual interpretation to the sloth noise, Grant?
Yeah, I'm gonna need to stand up though.
I'm kind of
Let's
missing
move
Grant's
on.
pickle.
In other news,
Yeah, is the pickle still in the garage?
Pickle's
We're in
still
the
healthy, doing well.
Okay.
Survived.
Okay.
Have you named him yet?
I don't name my pickle.
Okay.
Junior, perhaps, but
It's
JR,
just-
if you're feeling.
Feeling frisky.
that's where I feel like VeggieTales got it wrong. They had a pickle, but they named it the asparagus JR. Junior. Come on.
Well, we're glad to hear that the pickle's doing well. You doing okay? Everything good on your end?
I think so.
Yeah. You celebrated a
saying-
birthday of a kid?
Indeed, which I think we have backwards. I have a little theory about birthdays. I feel like parents should get gifts on children's birthdays, and then children should
I'm
get
down.
gifts on Father's Day and Mother's Day. Yeah, I think we
I
have
mean,
it
the
a little
mother should
backwards.
definitely get a gift, probably every time.
Yeah. No matter what.
Although, I think we make too big a deal of moms in our culture. I mean, they get Mother's Day, they get their birthdays, all holidays revolve around mom. They get Labor Day. Okay.
I just want
A
to
lot of
say
truth
that
there.
as a child, I am the gift on my mother's.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. Yeah,
Mother's
That's
Day.
true.
hmm So husbands really just need on Mother's Day to point to the kids.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah, right.
welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See here.
Or we point to ourselves. I am the gift later.
And then you immediately get a disappointed face.
She's like, worst gift ever.
Like, oh, great reruns. That's
You
fun.
got that for me last year.
This gift is getting really old.
Stale.
Should we call our second borns reruns?
Well, at that point, you just got the runs. And then
Yeah.
just-
Hey Sigrid, you're the runs.
So, Jeff, you want to give us an update on our simulated playoff game going on over there?
Sure. Right now it's 4th and 1 for the Ravens, and they're threatening. I don't know if they're going to go for it here or just kick a field goal, but it is raining because it's supposed to rain in Baltimore on Sunday. So we're about to see what happens. They're showing a replay of like a 2-yard run, which seems really boring. Not enough shots of Taylor Swift or Jason Kelsey's naked chest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was what kept me watching last week.
I love that he stole the show from Taylor
Yeah.
Swift.
It needs to be
It
in
took-
the booth constantly. when She's
Yep.
there just to,
He
just to steal the
completely
spotlight.
just stepped right in front of her and just exposed himself.
Sure, it's okay when he does it, but like when I do it at Walmart, it's completely inappropriate.
People call the cops. I don't
Yeah.
understand.
And it's good, 7-3
All right. They're
in the
making
second quarter.
mounting a little comeback. We're going to talk a little bit more about these playoff games that would have already played by the time you listen to this, but then you'll know if we're geniuses or not, or if the simulator works. So we do want to jump on into some comments. And now that Ryan has his voice back and is ready to roll, we're going to do that.
It's time for comments.
Speaking of voices, we had some good comments on video of you using a is it like a voice
Oh,
like,
the
I
Speechify.
wanted to call it that you were just like doing the Stephen Hawking, but I don't know if that's offensive or
I was
not.
looking to see if there's something where I could just hit buttons and it
And it like
put the
talk for
sentences
you.
together,
Yeah.
yeah.
Look at these guys.
Or if I could just get one of the ones that
Hi.
like reads my eye movements, that'd be great.
My rerun just came home. Hi.
Hi, rerun.
Go play Soren. I love you. Bye. Close the door.
Mega Man 2, sweet.
Just
But
kidding.
we had so on our TikTok, not TikTok, but Instagram video about that. We had Sand and Coffee, regular commenter and viewer. We always appreciate jumping in. He said, "This is a field I
Viewer?
work in." So this is a field I work in. I love seeing that Josh used speech generating technology to communicate when he had no voice. Hope he remembered to cancel that free trial though.
I did.
Ooh,
I
That's good.
did. But I think we need to take advantage of our connection there with Sand and Coffee.
Mhm.
And if he can do some cool stuff like that, I'm sure there's a way we can exploit him on the podcast.
I do think that is a really cool like career to be in. I'd be interested to know more about that.
Yeah.
And I think just because I follow him on on obviously our DudeFax, but on my running Instagram, I think he just went to some like conference to talk about all this stuff, like in
Wow.
Florida. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, he's doing some
Very
cool
cool.
stuff, man.
Doing some awesome stuff there.
We feel very honored to have somebody of your acumen listening
Yes.
to this podcast.
Yeah. Let's
Word of the
see.
day.
We had one more in here. Sorry, my phone's been commandeered, so I'm
Well, while
pulling the comments on
While you're
my
figuring it out, hey, Sand and Coffee, if you want to sponsor us, imagine if we did a whole episode in different voices.
Ooh,
Ooh, talk about ways to impress your immediate supervisors.
that's right.
And Sand and Coffee also commented on I think the first video that dropped on Instagram last week and said definitely worth listening to both halves of the podcast each week. Excited to hear this discussion. So we appreciate that. We appreciate to know that people are out there listening to both halves and not just either us making fools of ourselves or when we actually get serious and maybe still make fool of ourselves. But
reveal how little we know.
I do know that my wife and my mom only listen to the second half.
Okay. Them and that one guy at Josh's church who said we were just a bunch of guys.
Giggling.
You're
So he
not
just made it
wrong.
through the first half.
Yeah.
He said he listened for 15 minutes. He had to turn it off. He's a good guy.
He made it
No, he's
longer.
not. He only listens to 15 minutes.
At least he made it that far.
He made it longer than my wife, so that's okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure Bridget has listened to any of it. She just knows. Like, I'm not even. I said that.
And then last comment, I don't have it on me, but I know on TikTok, Ethan commented you guys were talking about the Lions and Jason Kelsey and Taylor Swift and all that, and he said the Lions won. So that was a development from last weekend's playoff games. So
Boo.
Ethan also did send us a DM on Instagram. I just remembered. I think last night. He was talking about church signs since we were talking about church signs last night. And he said, "I just saw a church sign that said Jesus. He's not just for Christmas."
That's true.
Apparently, that's floating around out there.
Okay.
I mean, it's not wrong.
He's for Easter too.
He's not
At
Mariah
least one
Carey.
other day during the year. Well, speaking of things that are scripted, like our comments, it's time for our dad joke. And Grant, I hope you're rested and ready for this week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did have to write it down. I could not internalize it, but it's very good. Try to say it without giggling. A woman has a heart attack, and during it, she dies and meets God. "Will I die?" she asked. "No," God replied. "You will live for another 40 years, 2 months, and 8 days." At this instant, she snaps back alive. And after the heart attack, she decided to make the most of her life. She got a facelift, liposuction, a tummy tuck. She even got surgery to change the color of her hair. Surgery. After her final surgery, she walks out and gets hit by a car and dies. And when she goes up to heaven, she meets God, and she is steaming. "What was that?" she asked. "What?" God responded. "You died. You said that I would live another 40 years. Oh, God thought for a while. "I didn't recognize you."
Okay. Okay.
I thought her getting hit by the car was the joke. I almost laughed too early.
I was trying to figure out how people change the color of their hair surgically.
That's what I was also
Surgically.
wondering.
By the way, in the middle of your joke, Patrick Mahomes threw an interception in the
Oh.
end zone.
Well, Patty
Oh.
Mahomes.
Did he cry?
Did he
think
blame
he's
it on the
crying.
refs?
I think Taylor's crying.
Like, you can't allow that in a situation like this in the game. Well, very good, Grant. That was delectable.
Insightful.
We appreciate it. Well, again, talking about other things that are scripted, we wanted to talk a little bit about the NFL tonight, and there's been some talk over the last couple of years that people are beginning to think that maybe the NFL is scripted itself. I guess you guys have heard that as well. What do y'all think about it? You think it's scripted, or that there's some maybe not scripted as much as we just got to make sure we hit the betting lines?
I don't know. I feel like if it is, I grew up watching the WWF, and I loved that. So it can be scripted and
Yeah,
still be good. That's
yeah,
okay. Yeah.
I'm glad WWF was scripted.
Yeah.
'cause,
It gave us
the
Stone
old
Cold Steve Austin and
That's
The
right.
Rock. Those guys were
Hulk
amazing.
Hogan at 50, 55 wouldn't have won anything. So
Oh yeah.
I'm glad he did.
Well,
Well, I think it's interesting. Oh,
Well, I was
Jeff.
just gonna say every week that the Chiefs win makes me think, especially this year, that it's scripted because the NFL wants the Swifty attention, and I mean they played terrible all year, and then they show up and they beat the Dolphins and Bills back-to-back weeks.
Yep.
I don't know that.
That would also
Doesn't
explain the
smell
Giants beating the Patriots multiple times in the Super Bowl. If it was scripted.
Which that would make me real mad.
I'm just wondering when they're going to script the Titans to win one.
I know, right?
I know Nashville. Come on,
You got to
everybody
get in
loves
cozy
Nashville.
with to get
Yeah,
in-
that's
get
what
on
I'm
the
wondering.
script, yeah.
That's what I'm wondering. So, this conspiracy, if you will, of yeah, thanks.
Forgot to play that music.
This conspiracy of the NFL being scripted has kind of gone into overdrive a little bit over the last few days, as there have been a couple things show up on social media. One from some sort of news outlet seeming to reveal that the winners, or at least the participants in this year's Super Bowl, have already been decided before the conference championship games.
Yeah, the pickles.
Oh, there it is. I
There's
thought you guys
Junior.
were really excited about the conspiracy. There's
I was.
I'm excited about that too.
Who brought you?
I
Did
almost
you go?
giggled.
Did you get up and get it while I was talking, or
It's been sitting behind me this whole time.
oh man, you were just waiting?
I was waiting to
pull
whip
out
out
your
my pickle. Yeah,
The pickle is inside the house.
just plopping it out on the table and
That's right. So I'm going to share a picture here. This is the. Can y'all see that? Okay. Do I need to?
Yeah.
So this was screenshotted from some sort of news feed. It looks like just something that might be a screensaver. But it says on this, Reba McEntire, Usher, and Post Malone are slated to perform at San Francisco 49ers and Baltimore Ravens Super Bowl matchup on February the 11th.
I hope that's the matchup.
I don't know. But it would be super awesome if it was for purposes like this.
Are we sure that it's scripted, or is there a time traveler in our midst?
Oh,
Yeah.
It could be that.
Because somebody could have time traveled and already put that up.
That's probably whoever wanted to see Usher in the Super Bowl
Or
halftime show.
Reba McEntire.
Well, if we want to take it a bit further, though, because I think this is where let's see.
So
Let me
I
find the
don't
next
want
one.
to alarm you guys, but I just got a notification from Riverside that said my feed stopped recording.
I saw that too, but I
Uh-oh.
see you
Oh yeah.
still moving.
Wait, are none of us recording? It's recording.
Factoid's computer stopped recording. Only their recording stopped.
Yeah.
That's what it says.
Well, my audio's still coming through.
It is.
It's fine.
It ought to be.
How do I? Let me leave and come back in. Hold on.
Leave and come
Well,
back.
side note, Josh, while you're pulling stuff up and while I was doing that, COVID, a lot of concerts got canceled, right?
Mm-hmm.
Including Post Malone's. And so that year, I think he went by Postponed Malone.
I thought you were going to talk about his dad, Carl Malone, who was known as the mailman.
He was the mailman.
All right, Ryan.
right.
Looks like you're
That's why he named his son
back in.
Post.
All right, I'm back here.
Okay, so part of the
Strange.
thought is that maybe there's a time traveler out there from the future that saw this and has come
Yeah.
back. But here's the kicker: this year's Super Bowl logo is in the colors of the San Francisco 49ers and the Baltimore Ravens. Now, apparently, the last few years, the logo has been in the same color scheme as the two teams that have played. I didn't pull that up, but there's an image out there of the two teams that played in the Super Bowl. So that hasn't always been the case, but it has been the last couple years. And now these people are saying this purple and red in this logo is just another sign that the two teams that are going to compete have already been chosen.
I will say that NFL teams don't. There's not a lot of diversity when it comes to team logo colors, so it's highly likely that could just be a coincidence.
Not
Well,
a
who
lot
else
out
could
there
that
with.
be?
Well, Minnesota has some purple, right? The Vikings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
A lot of red teams.
And that could be the
Cardinals,
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
A ton of red
Yeah.
teams.
It's true.
2 of
By
the
the
4
way,
left are
the
red.
Chiefs just scored another touchdown, 14-3.
It looks like they might be
Boo.
going to
Yeah.
the Super Bowl.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm pulling for the Lions no matter what. So
You ain't lying.
here's my question: if
Boo.
the Chiefs win, does Taylor Swift go out onto the field after the game
Touchdown Ravens.
and give an impromptu concert?
Let's say that
No.
again. Oh, Taylor Swift.
I think she
Yeah.
should.
I think
She owes it to the
owes
fans.
it to the NFL
Yeah.
and all the fans that have watched her all season.
If the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, I think that Reba McEntire, since she's going to be there, should play a song as Travis gets down on one knee and proposes to Taylor right on the 50-yard line.
Jason standing there shirtless taking the pictures.
Yes, that's the script. Right
Yeah.
there.
It's done. We'll type it up and send it in.
Yep.
I wonder if they ever
They
rewrite
text me
the
to
She's
Goodell.
script.
still alive.
What'd you say?
Reba Mack just retire. I'm surprised she's still alive. I
Oh.
thought she was dead.
I don't know.
She might be. I don't know.
Maybe she's a time traveler.
So on X this afternoon, I did see that people are claiming the score has already been revealed for the NFC Championship game. And if you're listening to this, you already know the score, but they're saying 49ers 41, Lions 33.
Oh, I
we'll have
pray that's
to-
the case.
We'll have to see
Okay.
if that's
So
the case.
that'd be an epic game.
Well-
It's a lot of scoring.
Mm-hmm.
If you think it's true, bet on it.
Yeah.
If you can in your state.
Can
Can you sports bet in Tennessee?
Tecmo
Yeah.
Bowl.
a couple years ago. Oh, there's Tecmo Bowl. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tecmo.
So we were hoping to get to play a little bit of Tecmo Bowl tonight, but Ryan did not want to fly home, pick up the game, and fly back in time for the podcast.
Yeah, it'd be making it close.
Yeah, Midlothian from Clarksville, Midlothian, and back. That's a little bit of a trip.
Yeah, it's a haul.
Grant was going to try to simulate the playoffs on Tecmo Bowl, but one, it came out before the Ravens were a team, and it also does not have Kansas City.
Yeah.
Or Detroit. I think the 49ers were it.
Technically, it
Right.
came out
Yeah.
before the current Cleveland Browns were a team.
That's true.
Because
Yeah.
the Ravens were the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah. I love Tecmo
Yeah.
Bowl. That may
Oh,
have
yeah.
been one of my all-time favorite games.
That's such a good one. That
The,
one.
the Bears were actually good.
Wow.
So,
They've been spanking me ever since.
speaking of some great Nintendo games, we do have a Nintendo here tonight,
Yeah.
and I think we're going to crank up here in a minute. But what do you guys? What was some of your? Did everybody have a original Nintendo?
Yes.
Yeah, we all had one.
You're looking at mine.
Yeah.
That literally is mine from
Yep.
when I was 8
Mine
years
was
old.
a hand me down from my uncle, but it's still got a lot of use from me.
One of the worst things I've ever done in my life is I sold my original Nintendo a few years ago. But I bought a PlayStation 4 with it, with the money. So,
Man, you got that much money for
well, I sold that and a Wii, but I did. I got a ton of money from the Nintendo and all the games I had, and it was just sitting in storage for so long. And then we had a Wii, sold that off. But like Zelda behind Grant right now, I miss.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of my favorite games too. Did y'all have a favorite Nintendo game?
I had a couple.
Yeah.
I think it's called Captain Skyhawk. Was a really favorite one of mine. It was like one of those. It was a 3D game, like on a 2D system. So it was like one of those like trying to like max out the capabilities of the Nintendo Entertainment System. It was a lot of fun. It was like obviously a plane and you're flying around doing like fighter jet missions. I love that game.
you ever play the original Top Gun on NES?
Yes.
That was fun.
Yes. That was a fun game.
Oh, I love Top Gun. Yeah, that was one I had
A
until I sold
duck
it.
hunt.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was always fun.
Yep.
But you never see people hunting ducks with pistols.
No.
But we did in the 90s.
Yeah.
And we tried to murder our dog.
I wonder how many TVs got blown up that way.
Well, the dog was snickering at me. What did you expect
Yeah.
me to do?
I always wanted to shoot the dog. Man,
Yeah.
I still want to shoot that dog.
Dog was so
Uh,
mean.
Excite Bike.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
That
Classic.
got me pumped. It popped up on Grant's screen just a second ago, kind of like the pickle. But yeah, I used to like to create my own track and make these like epically hard Excite Bike tracks. Those were fun, or just all ramps. Just
Yeah.
ramping off everything. Yeah, that was a lot
Rad
of fun.
Racer.
Oh yeah, Rad Racer.
I like Rad Racer. That was a good one.
Yep. RC Pro Am.
Oh yeah.
Remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
That
There were
was
a lot of
good.
great games with that original Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
There's
Punch Out.
Yeah, Punch Out is a
Oh
good one.
yeah.
Mike Tyson.
So I actually have a list. This is from IGN, which we know is like Mecca for gaming nerds.
Yeah, they get a lot wrong.
They get a lot wrong. And I think they did here. So they have a list of top 100 NES games, so the original Nintendo Entertainment System.
Okay.
And I'm not going to give y'all 100, but I'm going to give you.
Oh.
Walk through their top
Top
10.
80.
Sure, we knew top 80. We'll go through their top 10, and then will share some things some games that
mentions.
should have been in that
Gotcha.
top 10, or you can mention some as well. There we go. So coming in at number 10, released in 1989, is DuckTales. Ooh. Right. So I never played this game. I don't know if you guys did or not.
I've played DuckTales. That is a classic platformer. I love that game.
Well,
But I've also played it not on the Nintendo. I've only played like newer versions of it,
okay.
like later versions of it, not newer. But
I never played DuckTales. So Ryan, I guess, is the only
Never
one that
did.
played that. Okay.
Just watch
Coming
the
in-
show.
Coming in at same. Coming in at number 9, Bionic Commando. This was 1988. I don't even know this game. Have y'all heard of that?
it's one of those franchises. It's actually still been around. Like they made a Bionic Commando game on the Xbox 360, I believe. So, but it's never been one that like I'm like, oh yeah, you play that Bionic Commando game that was really good and fun. Like I just always hear the name of it, but no one ever talks about actually playing it.
Well, in their description here, they say every self-respecting gamer has fond memories of Bionic Commando.
Nope.
That's a bold
That is a
statement.
bold
I'm not a real
statement.
gamer, I guess.
Yeah.
I
All
guess
right.
I don't respect myself.
Number 8, also coming out in 1989, Dragon Warrior. This was before Final Fantasy. It was a RPG game. Again, this is one I don't remember either. We mainly had like sports games and racing games for ours, but y'all remember that one at all?
You remember having all the
No.
sports games that just were the name of the sport. I had like tennis,
Yeah.
baseball,
Yeah.
soccer.
You didn't have Blades of Steel?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I had Blades of Steel, but I had ice hockey before that.
I have Buns of Steel.
Ooh.
You do. We've noticed. You must work out.
Firm.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, I think we're all going to agree with this as a top 10. This is coming in at number 7, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Oh yeah.
Released in 1987, perhaps one of the most classic NES games. There was a remake that came out on the Wii in 2009. I didn't play that one. Did any of you guys ever punch out Mike Tyson?
I did.
Yeah. Wow. How'd you celebrate?
Well, I
Face
think I
tattoo?
celebrated just because almost. I remember I slammed my controller down probably at least 100 times when he beat me, and I was just thankful that I didn't have to like break my control. So, it was almost like I just finally calmed down and could breathe again.
Well, Disney knew Nintendo knew what they were doing. I mean, I'm looking at the controllers down there. There's nothing special about those. Like no part's going to break off. They're they're very light. As far as I don't think there's a lot of components inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, and you can't throw them far because they're attached. So I know mine got thrown on the ground quite often.
Mine got
I
slammed
was just making sure I got the
into
right.
my fist.
Yeah.
Can
This is my original control from. I mean, we're talking 37 years ago.
Man, you put that thing up against the Xbox controllers, and you now, yeah, a few more buttons.
Yeah, slight upgrade.
Just a few more buttons. All right, number 6, Metroid came out in
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
'87.
Oh, yeah. Metroid's a great one.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
That was a good one, and one of the and Jeff's playing. One of the things that people don't fully get if you didn't grow up in this generation is very few games had a save feature in it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if you were going to try to win, you had to play hours on end to get through it. Mario was one of those.
Did you ever just like, go to the pause menu, but then just leave your TV on
Yeah.
Yes.
and everything running?
Yeah, and
Just
you have to
like,
say, "Don't
just your
turn off the."
Mom's making you eat dinner or whatever.
I was just
God.
I was telling my kids about that concept the other night as we were playing this. Because did you guys ever play Rampage?
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if that's one that's going to pop up on the list, but Rampage had like 100 levels, and I always wanted to beat Rampage and defeat like every state, but you couldn't save it. So I literally spent an entire day, and I would go away and like go outside or like go eat or go to the bathroom, but I would pause it, come back, and it took like an entire day, and I finally beat Rampage, only for it at the very end just to show a map of the United States and have congratulations and like like Times New Roman font, and then go right back to the home screen.
Yeah, the
was
ending
like,
of so many of the games are,
waste.
if you beat them, are terrible. A huge letdown.
They didn't think anybody was going to get there.
No.
Just-
Like that was an
Clearly did
afterthought,
not.
yeah.
especially any Americans. The Japanese, like, they'll never finish this. Coming in number 5, Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. I wasn't
do
into
love
the
Castlevania.
Castlevania games. Number 4, Mega Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that behind
It's a
Grant's
difficult
head.
game.
Oh, I just died.
Oh. Hey, we have that sound effect. All right, here we go. Top 3, according to IGN, Super Mario Brothers, the original, what Jeff is playing
Yes.
right now,
Oh,
released in
yeah.
1985. Such a great game. And, for such an early game, it had mass appeal. I remember my mom playing it. And my mom, I mean, she was in her 40s probably then. Yeah. And she would have been great with the Wii, because when she played with that controller, she felt like she had to make it like move in the direction.
Jump.
Had to make it jump. But it had a lot of like
Now-
secret passageways and
Oh, yeah.
and the shortcuts and all
Oh,
that.
yeah.
that
Like
they
on this
built
level
in.
Jeff's on right now, you get to the end of that, you can skip like
Yeah, warp zone.
4 levels ahead.
Yeah.
So this Mother's
always
Day,
do.
your mom playing original Mario?
Yeah, I might have to borrow your NES there. She would love it. She played it a few years ago as well. It's fun for us to watch, but she enjoys it too. All right, number 2, The Legend of Zelda.
Mhm.
I would have to agree that's a top 5 game.
You
Definitely.
talk about RPGs, like that's the one that I
Mhm.
remember from the NES. Like, maybe if you played, if you were in Japan, you played some of those other games, but Zelda was the one that most American kids played. I felt like.
I don't think anybody ever beat it though. Like,
I did.
you got the Triforce, you got all of
But
them.
here's the caveat to that. So I don't know if you remember, Josh. I think it was at the Ed staff retreat.
Yes,
We had
when we spilled Yoo-hoo on Ron Moore's shirt.
Josh and I were drinking Yoo-hoo and playing Nintendo.
At our church staff retreat.
I mean, we were like in our 30s.
Getting work done.
But I remember we were playing, or I downloaded Zelda to my Wii at the time. And so I was playing the original Zelda because I could never beat it as like an 8-year-old. But I was on a mission. So after we got back from that retreat, I was like, I am going to figure out how to beat this stupid game. And I stayed up for about 2 weeks every night until like 2 a.m. And at the age of like 32, I finally beat The Legend of Zelda.
Oh
So,
man.
It only took me like, 20 something years.
Well, congrats, man. You're the first person I've ever heard of that is. I
Now,
tried and
To
tried.
be honest, I looked up YouTube videos.
Well, I did that as well. I remember coming back from that retreat. I pulled the Nintendo out, the same thing, and played Zelda for I don't know a year or so, and just could never get it done. I think the idea of having to kind of go all the way through it, it would save some though, wouldn't it? Didn't it have a built-in? Did Zelda save any? I don't remember. Anyways, all right, we'll move on. Number one.
I was laughing because Pacheco was dancing behind Ryan's head. Chiefs
Oh,
are up 27.
Are we going to get a
10.
replay of it here?
No.
No replay of the dance. Wow, they're taking it to him.
Blowout.
All right, number one, according to IGN, is Super Mario Brothers 3.
Which, I mean,
Super Mario 3.
Super Mario 3.
Because I thought earlier you said 2.
I thought, yeah, I did, but it's
And I was
actually
like,
number
what?
3.
Okay.
like, I'm
Um,
pretty
3
sure
is good.
2 actually didn't exist in the States. I think that was only.
did it
in
just
Japan.
go to 3?
Yeah,
I
I'm pretty
actually
sure it
had
just-
2.
Did you have
as
2?
a kid, yeah.
There was one of them that didn't exist. Maybe there was like a 1.5 or something. But yeah, I never played 2 that much. 3 definitely a ton.
2 was a lot different. So
Right.
you had 1, and then 2 was so much different than
no, it's
number
what it
1,
is. I
and
had
then
to
3 was similar to 1, except it was like way upgraded.
I had to look at the picture. So originally, I think what
case
it
not
was
recording
that
again.
2 in Japan was a different game. It was not Mario, but it was the same game, and they just basically reskinned the main character to look like Mario, and then called it Mario 2.
Wow.
Okay.
If I'm remembering that correctly,
That makes sense.
which was pretty interesting because that's the reason that everyone's like, why does this look so different from Super Mario Brothers? And that was why, is because it really wasn't Mario. It was just some other platformer that they put Mario on.
I do think. Thank you. I do think there are several games that should have been in that top 10, but here's some other very well-deserving games. Coming in at number 11 was Final Fantasy, the first one. Contra, which is my all-time favorite game. I did beat that one. Comes in at number 12. RC Pro-Am, which you mentioned earlier, 13, and Excite Bike at 14. So those are all great games. Blades of Steel, which we talked about, was number 24. Now Metal Gear at 26. I never played the Nintendo version, but I played Metal Gear Solid on the first PlayStation and absolutely loved that game.
Double Dribble.
Let me see if I see it on here. Jackal was a great game. It's number 37.
Did you ever go up for a dunk in Double Dribble with a black guy, and then it would cut to the cutscene, and it was like a white guy with long hair?
No, I don't remember that.
That was my favorite.
I'm sure. Rad Racer we talked about was 57. Let's see. Spy Hunter. I remember playing that one. I don't see Double Dribble on here.
There were only 4 teams. You could play with Boston, Chicago,
the Knicks, New York,
LA, and New York.
Yeah. Ice hockey does come in at 100. So a lot of great memories there, man. A lot of good stuff. Anybody else want to give it a go on the Nintendo?
Did you guys ever play Baseball Stars?
He's logging back in. Baseball Stars. No,
I don't know why it keeps doing that.
That was a great game. Baseball Stars.
Oh yeah, I did love that game.
Yeah, it was one of the first times I can remember you can create like a season.
Yeah,
and it kept stats and all that, and it actually saved. So I was all over that whenever
that was
it came out.
That was a classic. Another one of my favorites. So the light gun that you use for duck hunt.
Yeah.
There was another game that I forget the name of it, but it was basically just like a Western, showdown.
Wild Gunman.
Yeah.
It's all Back to the Future.
Yeah. I played that a ton.
Yeah.
On a black and white TV. That's weird.
Did anybody have the Power Glove?
No, I wasn't cool enough.
The Power Glove sucked.
Yeah. Have you guys watched 8-Bit Christmas?
Yes.
It's fantastic. It's really great, especially if you're a Nintendo fan.
That's one of my new favorite Christmas movies.
really good. And that whole scene where they're like, and the power glove sucked. But if you had it, you were the king of the block, and but then you just hated it because it never worked. Did y'all have a power pad?
Nope.
We got that with
Yes.
you had one.
Yes.
Oh, granted.
Was
With
your
Olympics.
was your Mario game, was it the triple decker with Mario, Duck Hunt, and then whatever the Olympic game one was?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I had because
Yep.
I was telling Jeff I had the mat. Is
Yeah.
that what you're talking about? Where
Power mat.
you run on it? Yeah, it's just.
I'm so jealous.
I hope that thing still
Should be.
works, but if I ever find that thing in storage at my parents' house, it's probably like brittle and falling apart.
Probably. But they were cutting edge with stuff like that,
Mhm.
really great stuff. All right, you're going to give this level another go.
Yeah. I feel like I got to defeat this level here.
All right, football game update. What's the score?
Yeah, let's see. While Jeff is
It is.
playing, it is 28-10. Baltimore has the ball. They're at midfield. They're moving. Minute to go in the third.
So at Christmas, I went home to see my family in Texas, and my nephew, he found. So my mom had these two like super cheap, like Chinese video game things that just have a bunch of old games on them, and the only one we could get to really play was Mario because it was the very first one, and he just played it the entire time and wanted me to play it with him. So he would just play it and then he'd die and then he'd hand it off to me. And we just did that for like hours.
Fun.
Oh, no.
man.
Something hit me.
Oh, yeah.
It's like this seen elevator thing.
Yeah, we're going to blame the game.
It's always the game's
Or
fault.
watch out, I'm gonna start throwing stuff.
He's so tiny.
It's like Dimitri Martin said his computer beat him at chess, so he beat it at kickboxing.
So speaking of some of the worst Nintendo games, I had Chess Master,
Yes.
which was basically just a chessboard on your screen. I don't know where I got it from. I'm hoping it wasn't something I said, Mom, I want this. But I also know that I was on the chess team in middle school, so at Richview. So it's possible that I nerded out over that. And then another really bad one that we had was, oh,
Man.
bummer.
I'm on level
What joke
4.
did you tell Jeff?
Now I
The joke
actually,
of my playing.
I don't remember now what it was. My old man mine, just lost it.
Hey, they say your memory's the second thing to go, Josh.
What's the first? You can't remember?
Can't remember.
Yeah.
You're
Well, that would be it. Well, as Jeff is trying to relive his childhood here on Super Mario Brothers, we're going to get ready for part 2 of our discussion. And again, tonight we are going to be looking at, is it okay for Christian entertainers to include things like foul language, violence, nudity, sex, those types of things into either the movies or the shows they're in, the music they produce, their social media, stuff like that? Where's the line? And how should we respond to it? So that's going to be here on part 2. World 4-1. So you made it to
I'm
the
on 4 too.
There you go, man. He's halfway
Oh.
done.
By the way, did you guys ever play Back to the Future, the video game, the Nintendo?
No.
Which I love the movies, but that was the hardest NES game ever, and it was so frustrating because it was so difficult. I think it had a lot of potential, but it was so difficult that it just sucked. And I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
over.
Game over.
Oh, the other one I was thinking of was Paperboy.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't a bad game, but the premise, like, there's literally a video game about delivering the newspaper. So, and in this list, I saw one about playing, like, if you wanted to be a Wall Street professional or something, that was the, making trades and all that.
I can't believe Tetris didn't make the top 10 of that list because Tetris is like the game that like blew Nintendo up in the US. Like, it made Nintendo in North America because people were buying it just to play Tetris.
Well,
I didn't really. Go ahead.
Portland's known as Soccer City, USA, and the Portland Timbers are the ticket in town. And we have the Blazers here, but if you want the hot ticket, it's Portland Timbers. Shout out to my friend Wes. He has front row tickets on the home sort of net. It's kind of great. But one of their final cheers, if they win the game, typically after the game, we'll do the Tetris cheer. So it's Portland Timbers, we adore you. Portland Timbers, for you I sing. And then we go One Direction, da na 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 na. And then the whole, like after the hey, we go the other way, da na 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 na. It's great. The whole stadium singing the Tetris theme. It's awesome.
That's fun. I never had that on Nintendo, but I had it on Game Boy, and I spent a ton of hours in the bathroom.
Yes,
playing Tetris.
Yeah. You had some long dumps when you were playing Tetris.
Yeah, that's right. All right, and on
short
that
dumps,
note,
big victories, and numb legs.
That's right. That section brought to you by the Kevin Kennedy Law Firm. And,
Hopefully, he doesn't have me covered while I'm doing that.
First and goal, Ravens.
Ooh, baby.
Well, when we roll back into part 2, we'll give you another score update. Thanks for sticking with us through this first half, and we will see you on part 2.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get it.